No, I refuse. I'm not starting this video. No, not gonna do it. Not doing it. We can just sit here and stare at one another. Hi everyone, I'm Donna Louise and welcome to my YouTube channel for the love of puzzles. Today we complete our journey as we've traveled around art, an epic 54,000 piece jigsaw puzzle from Grafika. If you haven't seen the other videos I've done in this series, why not? I'll leave all the links in the description below. Please go check them out. I've enjoyed so much this series. I've enjoyed learning about all the paintings and the artists and all the voiceovers I've done during the time lapse. I just hope that you've enjoyed it as well. And yeah, we're on to the last bag, bag 27. The last 2,000 pieces. We've done 52,000 pieces. It's section 8, one big, large, beautiful painting, big, beautiful frame. I'm definitely going to do the frame and the beige pieces first, leaving the painting for the last. Although it would kind of be fitting if we finished off with a background beige piece. Let's be honest. I'll probably, do hopefully the sky first and then the people. But yeah, look at this. This is going to be beautiful. I love the sections that are one big painting. I mean, I love the bookshelf sections. I love the along the floor sections. I love the last section. I love them all. I absolutely love them all. I do think that last section that I did, that's still on the table here, was probably one of my most favorite. Maybe because it's the most recent, maybe because it's the most colorful. It made me so happy. So if we pull out our panoramic poster of the entire jigsaw puzzle. Now, remember when I did the unboxing and I couldn't even pronounce that word correctly? And here I am, it's just rolling off my tongue now. This is what we've done. Look at it, beautiful. And the last section that we have to complete is this one right up here. And in the last video, did you enjoy finally seeing the bookshelf sections next to paintings? Oh, I did. Loved it. Oh, goodness, it's just coming together so beautifully. So the plan still is, at the end of February, to display the entire jigsaw puzzle up on a wall, and I'll bring you along for the journey where I put it up. Now, the videos that I have been doing, just the photos I've shown, I've only overlapped the sections because I didn't want the prongs to, be put together and taken apart, put together and taken apart. It's a lot of wear and tear on them. So they're just slightly overlapping. But once it goes on the wall, I'll do my best to make it as smooth as possible. In the meantime, I'm definitely going to do a summary video after this, talk about the various sections and the times it took, my thoughts on the puzzle, and then also I will do some complete time lapses. I don't know if I can do it all in one video or if I'll have to split it in two if it's too long or too large in size, but those will be coming down the pipeline. And yeah, I don't know what more to say. I just hope you've really enjoyed this series. I've absolutely enjoyed it. I really hope I get to fully display it. I still think I want to go over to my neighbor's driveway and just lay it out on a tarp and probably not put the prongs together, just overlap quickly. Watch out for birds, and in case some bad weather comes along, but it's because they have a double-story house and I can go on the balcony on the second story and shoot some footage top down. So I might still try to do that in January before I put it up on the wall, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I really wish you could see it in person. It's amazing. And if you thought you wanted to buy this jigsaw puzzle, you would not regret it. It really was a joy to do. So, before I just keep rambling and rambling, for the love of puzzles, let's get to finishing up this beautiful masterpiece with bag 27, which is section 8, as we travel around art. There is only one painting in this section of the puzzle. It's titled The Wedding Feast at Cana, in Italian, Nozze di Cana, and it's by the artist Paolo Cagliari, also known as Paolo Veronese, an Italian Renaissance painter based in Venice, known for extremely large history paintings of religion and mythology. This painting is a representational painting that depicts the biblical story of the marriage at Cana at which Jesus converts water into red wine. It's painted in the Mannerist style of the late Renaissance, and it is a very large format painting at 6.77 meters by 9.94 meters in dimension. It's an oil painting that is currently at the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. At Venice in June 1562, the monks of the Order of Saint Benedict commissioned Paolo to realize a monumental painting to decorate the far wall of the monastery's new refectory, the dining hall, at the San Giorgio Monastery on the Eponymous Island. In their business contract for this commission, they stipulated that Veronese be paid 324 ducats, like a coin used in trade. He also be paid the costs of his personal and domestic maintenance, be provided a barrel of wine, and be fed in the refectory. Aesthetically, the Benedictine contract stipulated that the painter represent the history of the banquet of Christ's miracle at Cana in Galilee, creating the number of human figures that can be fully accommodated, and that he use optimi colori, optimal colors, specifically the color ultramarine, a deep blue pigment made from lapis lazuli, a semi-precious metamorphic rock. He was assisted by his brother, Benedetto Cagliari, and Veronese delivered the completed painting in September 1563, just in time for the Festa della Madonna della Salute that was in the November afterwards. Veronese's depiction of the crowded banquet scene that is in this painting is meant to be viewed upwards from below, because the painting's bottom edge was 2.5 meters from the refectory floor, behind and above the head table where sat the abbot of the monastery. That's the title for the male head of a monastery. For 235 years, the painting decorated the refectory wall until September 11th, 1797, when soldiers of Napoleon's French Revolutionary Army plundered the painting as war booty during the Italian campaigns of the French Revolutionary Wars of 1792 to 1802. To readily transport this oversized painting from the Venetian church to a Parisian museum, the French soldiers horizontally cut and rolled up the canvas to later then be reassembled and restitched in France. In 1798, Veronese's 235-year-old painting was stored in the first floor of the Louvre Museum. 5 years later, in 1803, that store of looted art had become the Musée Napoléon, the personal art collection of the future Emperor of the French. In the early 19th century, after the Napoleonic Wars, the repatriation of looted works of art was integral to the post-Napoleonic conciliation treaties of France with Europe. Appointed by Pope Pius VII, the neoclassical sculptor Antonio Canova negotiated the Treaty of Tolentino for the French repatriation of Italian works of art that Napoleon had plundered from the Papal States. Yet the curator of the Musée Napoléon at the time, whose name was Vivant Denon, falsely claimed that the Veronese's canvas was too fragile to travel from Paris back to Venice, and therefore Canova excluded it from repatriation to Italy, and instead they sent to Venice the painting titled Feast at the House of Simon by the French painter Charles Lebrun. In the mid-20th century, during the Nazi occupation of France during World War II, at the time the painting was then 382 years old, it was rolled up for storage and continually transported to hiding places throughout the south of France. They didn't want the painting to become part of the Nazi plunder collected during the Second World War. In the early 21st century, on September 11, 2007, the 210th anniversary of the Napoleonic looting of the painting from Italy in 1707, a full-size computer-generated digital facsimile of the wedding feast at Cana was hung in the Palladian refectory of the monastery of San Giorgio Maggiore, which the Giorgio Cini Foundation in Venice and the Musée de la Louvre in Paris commissioned from the Factum Arte in Madrid. That digital facsimile consisted of 1,591 files. In 1989, the Louvre Museum began a painting restoration of it, which provoked an art world controversy similar to that of the restoration of the Sistine Chapel frescoes. Now, organized as the Association to Protect the Integrity of Artistic Heritage, the APIAH, I'll refer to it as APIA, artists protested against the restoration of, at that time, the painting was now 426 years old, and they publicly demanded to be included in the matter, but of course the Louvre denied their interest. So to the APIA, especially controversial was the museum's removal of the rouge marron, the red hue, overpainting on the tabard coat of the house steward. The removal of the red hue revealed the original green color of the tabard, of the coat. In opposing that aspect of the painting's restoration, the APIA said that Veronese himself had changed its color to the rouge marron instead of the green color of the initial version of the painting. Therefore, they should have kept it the rouge marron. In June 1992, 3 years into the restoration of the painting, twice it suffered accidental damage. The first accident, the canvas was splattered with rainwater that leaked into the museum through an air vent. And then in the second accident, which occurred 2 days later, the Louvre curators were raising the 1.5-ton painting. Now, I'm not sure if that's the painting and including what frame it had on it, or if it's just the canvas, but that is a lot. They were moving it to a higher position upon the display wall when a support frame failed and collapsed. In falling to the museum floor, the metal framework that held and transported the painting punctured and tore the canvas, but luckily the 5 punctures and tears affected only the architectural and background areas of the painting and not the faces of any of the wedding guests. In total, 130 wedding guests appear in this painting. Now, my question to you is, should the Louvre return this painting back to Venice? Or is it just too big to move without potentially damaging it or having to cut it and then restitch it? Very interesting. I'm more interested about the history of the movements of this painting than maybe the subject matter of the painting itself. What about you? Leave your comments below. And the last section is done. What a job this one was. This puzzle was like, you think you're done with me? Well, guess what? I'm gonna make it tricky for you. Those beige pieces along the left edge. Now, I've mentioned this before, there's like 2 or 3 of them that false fit. And really, I can only tell once I apply them to the next section whether or not they're truly in the correct place. So I know when I come to actually display the whole puzzle together, I may have some false fits along that left edge, which is fine. I'll sort it out at the time. Because the puzzle, when I display it at the end of the videos, when they're all laid out on my garage floor, I only have them overlapping because I don't want to wear the prongs too much. So I can't tell if there's any false fits, but we'll just have to wait and see. In the frame is beautiful. But every piece, because the pattern repeats, could actually be in 8 different places. Then I was able to narrow it down to 4, depending, because I know the orientation of the piece is based on shape. But that took a long time. So in fact, of the 15 hours and 4 minutes it took me to do this section, I think it was about an hour and 15 minutes sorting and 3 hours to do the main painting. The rest was just this big ornate frame as well as those beige background pieces. It was so much fun though and so enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed the voiceover. Now, the thing is, putting in the last piece, I didn't have an overwhelming sense of joy or sadness because, to tell you the truth right now, I don't feel it's finished. It's not done yet. Until I display the whole thing all together, either out on the floor or up on the wall, I don't feel it's complete. So I still have an excitement in me to see the whole big puzzle together. And I feel that once it's all together, then I'm going to have a moment of, oh my goodness, look at it. I think that's when it's really going to hit me. So the plan is still to do a full display at the end of February up on a wall. I might try to, over January, go to my neighbor's driveway and display it quickly on a tarp. But yeah, until then, I think I still have the excitement. It's not yet complete. I do plan on doing at least 2 more videos, a summary video, and then a time-lapse video. I'm not sure how long the time-lapse will be, so it might have to be divided up into 2 videos. But, I mean, maybe once I start planning for my next puzzles, what to do, I'll be like, oh yeah, I don't have any more travel around art to do. What do I do? So maybe then it'll start sinking in. But right now, because I just finished it, I'm still like, oh, I gotta do this and I have to do that. I still have a lot planned. So it's not like I'm not done with it just yet. So I'm not sad. And because I haven't fully seen it all displayed, I'm not like super emotionally excited because I'm still anticipating that moment. But I did promise you all that I would let you know my next big, large project, and I really was hoping it would arrive in time to tell you during this video of the last section. If you remember, about 3 months ago, I put a poll up on my community tab here on the YouTube channel asking you which large jigsaw puzzle you would like to see me do next. And there was a consensus you'd like to see me do the Jigsaw 42,000 Around the World Jigsaw Puzzle. Well, I was about to order it when someone told me about the Dowdle What a Wonderful World 60,000 piece puzzle. And that, set me aside for a bit because I was like, oh, when is it available? When will it be released? How much does it cost? Will I be able to get it here in New Zealand? And I was hoeing and humming and debating which one should I do. Well, about a month ago, I made a decision and I ordered. And I decided it not just on number of pieces, but also the quality of the video, the imagery, and the voiceover content that I would be able to provide. And I really, really wanted it to arrive in time to show you during the last section when I completed the Travel Around Art Jigsaw puzzle. And I was pretty bummed, but then it arrived. It did. It arrived on the day that I finished the last section. The courier showed up and delivered it to the door, and I decided to go with the Jigsaw 42,000 piece Around the World Jigsaw puzzle. Yes, because I just think the image is so much fun and we'll have so much to talk about during the voiceovers while I build it together. And it showed up just in time for the new year. So surprise, everyone! This will be my next large epic jigsaw puzzle. This is just the lid because it's too heavy to lift. But just to show you that it is here, it made its way all the way from France. Now, I did tell Grafika that this is just to tie me over for a few months until they release their next large epic jigsaw puzzle. I don't have any more details, but I'm hoping, mid-year, hopefully it'll be available. So we'll keep our eyes open for that. But what do you think? Thank you so much for all those who voted in the poll. You really helped me make my decision. And to tell you the truth, of all the current large epic jigsaw puzzles available out there, this was probably my most favorite. So I'm so pleased to be able to do it with you all. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. For the love of puzzles, I hope you enjoy my videos. Please consider subscribing. And until next time, ciao!